I'm Felix, Senior Project Manager for EAH, and have been working on this project ever since I joined EAH in 2007. So after I think a fairly slow start to the project where we had a lot of challenges between financing and working on the site, we have arrived at where we are today. And I would say it's a spectacular finish. So I'm just here to introduce Judy Bensaka, who is the chair of our board, who will start off the program officially. Judy has been part of our board for a long time, and will come up and say a few words.
Well, hello and welcome to everyone for this very special grand opening of Archway Commons in Modesto. I'm Judy Bensaka, and as Felix said, I chair the EAH Board of Directors, and I am certainly delighted to see all of you here today. This is very special. So thank you for being here, and especially want to thank residents who are also here today. Would you residents please wave or stand up? Well, the last time I was here for our groundbreaking, I was looking at a very large lot full of dirt, which isn't the most edifying sight. But now look at what we have. These beautiful, new, sustainable apartments, fully leased with 350 people on the waiting list. Now, I think that goes to show you how much affordable housing is needed in Modesto and in Stanislaus County. So we're very pleased to be able to help with that problem here of finding the best possible housing for the people in this community. There are many people who understood the need we have for housing many years ago when talks for Archway Commons began, including our elected officials who have supported us throughout the entire process. So I'd like to thank those here for being here today and ask them to stand and be acknowledged. From the city and county, we have Modesto Mayor Garrett Marsh, City Council members Jenny Conoyer, Dave Lopez, been a big support, and Tony Madrigal. Modesto City Council member John Gunderson. Thank you. We also want to thank Commissioner Carmen Morad. There she is. I also want to welcome those from our legislators' offices and ask them to please stand. Thank you to representatives from the offices of U.S. Congressman Jeff Denham, California Senators Anthony Canella, and Kathleen Galgiani, and California Assembly member Adam Gray. We want to thank all of you officials involved for making your efforts so strenuously for so long to support affordable housing that truly makes the difference in the lives of all of your constituents. So thank you again. And now I'd like to welcome a great champion of affordable housing, EAH Housing President and CEO Mary Murtaugh, who will talk. Who will tell you a few things about this development and the wonderful people who helped us do it.
And our wonderful board chair. Couldn't do it without a great board of directors. And I wanted to recognize Greg Neithoff, city manager. Come wave, please. It's just such a pleasure to be able to work with a city that itself is so well managed, great staff, incredibly supportive. Took a long time to get this done. We went through ups, downs, steps backwards, steps forwards, a lot of, well, let's not talk about we'll just skip over all the rough patches and just let them fade gracefully into memory. And we're here, it's done. Hallelujah, it's gorgeous. It's a really team effort to get a project like this done, and you guys were just fabulous at the city. Thank you so much. The council was unanimously in support all the way through and believed in us, and so we will make you proud. We'll do our best to make you guys proud. And as Judy said together, you know, it took a lot of people to come together to make Archway a reality, but we have multiple goals that we want to serve whenever we do a development, and one of those is sustainable development. So you'll notice that there's solar panels that are going to be powering all the common areas, and on the on-site storm drains, we wish we would have another storm. Please, rain. But when it does rain, we're going to be ready for a 6-day, or I think it's a 6-day event for a 100-year storm, something like that. Yeah, a 100-year flood event. So we're all ready. We've got a giant swale to collect storm water, and we're more than 15% over the state's energy requirements. And that will translate into savings for the residents too, because their utility bills are going to be way lower than what they would be otherwise, which saves them a lot of cash and the ability to spend it on other things. So we also were able to, with the redevelopment money, which made up more than 30% of the budget for the project, we were able to add continuous curbs and sidewalks going down the street, and street trees as well, and deal with some water line issues for the city, also a completely appropriate use of your redevelopment money. And I'd like to mention that all the funding that was spent on this could not have been used for anything other than affordable housing development, and that was one fact that never got into the Modesto B that I thought was particularly relevant. But in addition to that, we also just had some stellar luck, and one of them was being introduced to Huff Construction. What an awesome company. What a great partner to build this with. Super work ethic and time and commitment. I mean, I never worked with such a great firm, and I know that Gary Huff is traveling, but Dwayne's here, I think. Dwayne, I hope you're here, because otherwise you can get a there. You'd be so shy. Stand up, dude. Tell your brother. I mean, you guys are just fabulous. We'd want to recommend you to the entire planet, so I hope the television is gathering this comment in for publication. Also, we're really indebted to our architect, Chris Lehman, and I know you're here somewhere, Chris. Stand up and take a bow. None of this waving. One of the things that Chris really worked hard on, and which we try to do when we have enough land area to do it, is to create these clusters that you'll see, and there'll be more in phase 2, where all the units are facing each other, and the kids can run around, and you can gate off the exterior, so there's a place for them to keep steaming around on their big wheels, and there's a little corral for them to park their little toy trucks and trikes and stuff like that. And all the residents are going to get to know each other. And in fact, there was somebody who dropped by just recently at a community meeting. Service Officer Rosie Garcia complimented on this and commented about how easy it's going to be for all the residents to get to know each other, which is another one of our goals. We really want to not just build housing, but build communities and help residents thrive, not just create another apartment complex. So another great design feature that'll help with that is the picnic area that's outside, and the pool. It's going to function like a little private park for the residents, which is great. Long before the 2008 crash, and getting worse since then, however, has been the problem of the fact that we don't have enough affordable housing to meet the need. And we did have 600 applicants for this development, and as Judy noted, 350 people on the waiting list. People who are caught in a place where they don't have enough money to buy a home, even in a foreclosure environment, or couldn't qualify, and rents are going up, and what they're finding is they're paying 50-60% of their income for rent, and there's nothing left over for an emergency. And so we greatly appreciate all the work of our financial partners who came together and did everything they could to make this as affordable financially as possible. Hudson Housing Capital and Chase Bank and the City of Modesto, of course, through all of your collective efforts. We now have a home for, I think, 76 families. I always get this number wrong. It's embarrassing. Am I right? Thanks, Mike. And for seniors who are living on a fixed income, it's going to give them a chance to spend less on housing and more on critical expenses like medicine or food. And for families, it's going to serve as a fresh start and help them save and plan for the future. So all the way around, a huge success, and we just need to multiply it and create more space for the 350 families on that list. So please accept our sincere thanks for everything that you all have done, because many people here have had an instrumental role in helping us to get to this day. And I'd like to introduce Felix O. Young, who is our stellar project manager, senior project manager for Archway Commons, and he has just worked tirelessly. Get over here, Felix. He doesn't drink, so I can't give him a bottle of champagne, but thank you so much for everything you have done. Now that I've appropriately embarrassed him, I'll turn over the microphone. Sorry about that, but I had to do it.
I want to start off by saying thank you to our first and most important partner, and that is the City of Modesto. And throughout this process that started in 2007, they have been avid supporters of this project. And I want to call out some of the staff that has helped us a lot through this process. So Carol Averill and Scott Humphreys, and Mary Otten, and Steve Lumpkin, who's the new director for Park Recreation and Neighborhoods Department, as well as former director Julie Hannon, and all of them have played a huge role in making this happen. I also want to thank the City Council, who has, throughout the history of this project and the many times it went back for tax credit application, unanimously supported Archway Commons again and again through that process. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Mayor Marsh, who has been with this project from the very start. He was on the Home Committee when we first approached the city, and he's now the current mayor, and he has seen this project from start to finish.
Thank you, Felix. I've been waiting for this day for 7 years, I think, now. As Felix said, I was on the CH and CDC Community Housing Committee for the City of Modesto as a council member, and watched with bated breath each time we went in for tax credit applications and just saw us fail or come in second. We came in second a bunch of times, and it was just each time the floor drops out from under you. You realize you can't move forward with the project at that time, and so it's taken 7 years, and here we are today finally. And Modesto has been a partner with EAH from the beginning. Picked EAH, or EAH picked us. Ryan Suela, I don't know where Ryan is, was part of that process. Thank you, Ryan. I'm not sure we would have been here today without you. So this site was selected as a catalyst to improve the neighborhood here, and it was transforming an industrial, a blighted industrial site that could be seen from the freeway. Also, as people drove through Modesto, they saw this ugly trailer storage area, and it wasn't the best impression for our city. And we were able to take that with this project. It also has improved the neighborhood, and which was one of the goals that we wanted out of this project. I think it's important to realize Modesto used zero local tax dollars to build this project. 6 million of the dollars came from our set-aside funds from the former RDA. Those 6 million were obligated to this project just literally days before they would have been withdrawn and taken back to the state and not spent in Modesto. And if we were down to like our last meeting that we could approve this project and still use our local RDA funds. So we saved those $6 million for our local construction. Thank you to Huff Construction, a great local company, and people that live locally that got that earned wages building on this project. There were $8.2 million altogether. The other $2 million were home funds, federal funds that could only be, as Mary said earlier, could only be used for low-income housing, affordable housing projects, and this is one of them. 76 units here, and EAH not only led the financing and bringing all this together to build it, but they will also operate it. They've been in business 55 years now. Very experienced, run over 10,000 units in California and the Western United States. And they not only build their projects, they keep them and they operate them. It's not to just flip them and turn them over to somebody else to hopefully take care of. This complex has 24 3-bedroom, 2-bath units. It has 49 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and 3 single-bedroom, single-bath units. All of the ground floor units are ADA accessible. So it's a project that not only is able to accommodate those on the low end of the income scale, workers, but also seniors and also disabled. So for all those reasons, this is just a fabulous project for Modesto. 100% of it is affordable. The construction started after many years of trying to get the financing together. In June of 2012, was completed in mid-November of 2013, and within a week was fully occupied. And I think it just shows you how great the need is in Modesto for affordable housing. Modesto's pleased to have EAH as our partner. They've been a great partner, Mary. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. We appreciate all you've done, and I really look forward to continuing that partnership. And let's roll on part 2. Phase 2 next door, we can do another 70-something units, and I think it's time, and we're ready to start that process. Okay, thank you. Peter?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, it's our job to build this development in partnership with the city, but it's really been an honor to help you fulfill this vision, because I think the city had a very clear idea what it wanted here in this neighborhood, and we're just very honored to be able to deliver that for you. We're also happy to have a lot of support from the regional representatives that Mary or Judy introduced earlier. And I'd like to call them up, all 4 of you, and have you read the commendations. First is Darren McDaniel from Congressman Jeff Denham's office. Helen Condit from Senator Anthony Canella's office. Frank Damrell from Senator Kathleen Galgiani's office. And Nick Weinmeister, sorry, I was going to say it in my German accent. Weinmeister from Assemblymember Adam Gray's office. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really amazing that EAH started out as a small nonprofit, accepting small donations, and you guys have developed into creating housing like this. On behalf of Congressman Jeff Denham and the House of Representatives, I'd like to present you guys with a certificate for your accomplishments. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of State Senator Anthony Canella, congratulations to EAH Housing on the grand opening of Archway Commons. And thank you so much for your support on providing this service to our community of affordable housing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joe Ballas with Senator Kathleen Galgiani. I have here a certificate of recognition, but this is much more than recognition. This is about EAH and city government being able to work together, getting a good project for the community. Congratulations, and let's see more projects like this.
Well, thank you so much.
everybody. You know, as has been mentioned earlier, affordable housing is rare these days, high quality housing, and high quality affordable housing even more so. So we would like to say on behalf of the Office of Assemblymember Adam Gray, congratulations to EAH. Thank you to everyone involved to make this possible. What a beautiful facility, and I hope that many people will come by and see that this is the way of the future. And as Joe said, I hope for many more projects like this in the future. So congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you very much. We do hope for support at the state level for us to continue to be able to do this work. I think we have a lot of experience doing it, and I think there's a lot of need out there, and I think we need some help from the federal and the state level to continue to do this work. Now, to make this development function the way it needs to function and be a really attractive and viable place that it is right now, we need a good team. And I want to introduce our property management team on site here, starting with Kim Irvin, who is our property supervisor. And Angelica Lindenweaver, who is our property manager. Maggie Ramirez, who is our resource coordinator. Maria Garcia, who is our janitor. And Dwight Hobson, who is our maintenance staff and also our on-site staff. So, like our superstar property management team, we also had a great team of financing partners in addition to the City of Modesto. We went through a lot of challenges applying for 9% tax credits. That was mentioned by Mayor Marsh. It took us 5 attempts to get it. It's very competitive because many communities in California want more affordable housing for their own communities, and they all have to go through this funding pool essentially to make that happen. Through that process, I want to thank the council for bearing with us and adjusting the project scope in order to make that happen. And I also want to thank Matt Stiley for guiding us through that period of time for getting at the financing. For our financing partners, Hudson Housing Capital is our tax credit investor. They purchased the tax credits at top dollar to make the biggest contribution toward this project. About 60% of the total development cost is funded by their purchase of tax credits. And also JP Morgan Chase, also Chase Community Development Banking as our great partner for both our construction loan and our permanent loan. I do want to take a little bit of time here to also thank Old Republic Title Company for closing this project during a time when redevelopment agencies were being scrutinized after the dissolution and when not every title company was willing to take that risk. But here we are, all complete and about to go to perm conversion in about 2 months. So I want to thank them for that. So with that, I want to introduce Alice Carr, who is the Western Regional Manager for Chase Community Development Banking, to come up and say a few words.
Hi, I'm Alice Carr, the Western Regional Manager for Chase's Community Development Banking Group, and it is great to be here today to celebrate the grand opening of Archway Commons. This is just one in many of the successes that EAH has celebrated over their 45 years of developing and managing high-quality housing for those who need affordable homes the most. And this is quite an achievement. I look around and it really warms my heart. It's amazing. 76 units of green, affordable apartments that not only provide housing, but elevate this community by offering tutoring for students, job assistance programs, computer lounges, I guess they're called, computer labs with access, open space, and community space. With a mission-driven approach to development, EAH overcomes obstacles and creates catalytic projects like Archway Commons, and they change people's lives. Their commitment doesn't end with the last nail as it goes in place, but instead it deepens with a commitment to property management that is comprehensive and effective. The EAH touches, as I like to call them, are amazing. Bike storage, resident gardens, social services, high-end and long-lasting finishes, energy-efficient appliances, and more. And as you heard, while this project was many years in the making, there were no shortcuts taken. You can look around and you can see the high-quality project that results. I'll wrap up by also offering my congratulations to the City of Modesto. This is a fantastic investment, and it really shows a vote of confidence and an investment in the city and its residents. I'm very happy to be here today, and congratulations.
Thank you, Alice. On that note, I would like to talk a little bit about the programming that has been started by our resource coordinator. We're now offering after-school programs for 2 days a week in math and reading tutoring for 2 hours during the school year. We have a job search assistant program for our residents. We have a computer lab assistance and community resource referrals. We will be starting a neighborhood watch program and financial and nutrition classes as well. After this program, and probably during the lunch period, we will be leading, I think, 2 tours of the outside and one of the apartments on site, and we'll collect people at that time so you can actually see all the amenities that you mentioned that are here throughout the complex. So I finally need to say thank you to all the people that I worked with directly during this 18-month or 17-month construction period. And starting with the architect that Mary already recognized, it's Chris Lehman and Lily Chimbachella, who have been out here on a weekly basis to make sure that the project's going very well, and who looked at every detail to make sure it turned out. So thank you, Chris and Lily. I want to say thanks also to 2 of our other designers on the team, Christy McClendon Riva. I don't know if she's here, but she is the interior designer for the complex, and you can look her up online. And Stephanie Wondalek, who is our landscape architect. And again, when we do the tour, you'll see that the tree selections and the landscape design is just outstanding here. And finally, the biggest, I would call hero in this project is our general contractor. And I cannot say enough good things about Huff Construction and the character and integrity of Gary Huff. Wow, I did not expect that. But to give you some background, I worked 3 9% projects at the same time, so I get to compare contractors and jobs. And this by far, this by far was the best job of the 3, and I can say that without any hesitation. It made my life a lot easier, let me put it that way. Because when we're sitting in trailer meetings, we're eating sandwiches and telling jokes instead of hounding the contractor to do their job correctly. So that said, I want to say thank you to Brandon Ludwig and Ken Marshall, who's the project manager and superintendent for the project. They have been spectacular. If we could have this team on every one of our projects, we would. So that said, I would like to wrap up by having Mary come back up, and we will do a ribbon cutting, and then we will have lunch. Okay. Thank you.
Just the microphone for the height challenged. I appreciated the enthusiastic yes from Matt with regards to Huff. You really should have heard the conversations in the office, but I can never resist a microphone, and I've got a microphone and an audience, so look out. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about some really serious issues facing us as a state, having to do with the fact that there's such a severe need for affordable housing and so much less money than we've had to create this building. You've heard already about the waiting list here, the big waiting list here, which is not atypical in our history and our experience. The Great Recession had a huge impact on families of a very wide range of incomes, and there was financial pain felt at many levels. Many people lost their homes. That was really tragic, but it was particularly so with regards to very low-income families who have suffered greatly and are continuing to, in the aftermath of that economic tidal wave of disaster. We now have got a higher level than ever of low-income families who are paying 50 and 60% of their incomes for rent. And as of 2011, the state was short 1 million units of affordable housing relative to the need. Since the recession began, median income have dropped a lot, but rents have climbed, and now construction costs are climbing, and people are paying much more than they can afford. So believe it or not, we have the highest percentage of people in poverty of any state. I'm still flabbergasted by that. 24% of our overall population in California. But in this process, federal funding, as you know, has been squeezed greatly, and also the governor waved a wand and got rid of redevelopment with a little help from the legislature. So it was like, that was painful. In many ways, I felt like good cities were punished for the actions of bad cities, and Modesto was a good city and deserves to have that economic tool available to it because you guys were using it right. But here we are, and the net effect of those respective losses of funding means that the funding that we had available at the start of this project has now been reduced by 72%. And that's how we're going to try to solve a 1 million gap in affordable housing units. Most people, unfortunately, don't know the difference between public housing and privately owned affordable housing, privately created affordable housing, which is a difference that you can see all around you, but it also occurs in program operations. We have much more flexibility, but we're also able to plan ahead and budget for financial contingencies and ongoing repairs, and so we'll be able to keep this a pride to the city forever. But, you know, so as I try to explain, there's a world of difference, but we do use public funding to create this housing, even though it's privately owned with us and Hudson Capital and with the help of Chase. You guys have been such awesome partners. Putting a project together like this requires a really complicated structure, financial structure. And a key piece of that is one program I want to alert all the elected officials here today and their staffs is the low-income housing tax credit program, which has been working now in the United States. It's been the single most successful program for creating below market rate housing. And it's been in operation for, I think, almost 27 years now. With the lowest rate of fraud, it's under 1% of any federal program ever, which is probably because it's managed by IRS instead of HUD. But it also could be, and they strike the fear of God into anyone, but the other point, of course, is that the private sector investors really are at risk to lose their money. When they invest in a project like this, if we screw up, they lose their money. There's a recapture, so the government doesn't lose the money, the investors do, and that also brings a level of rigor to the way the program is operated. And those investors, trust me, we have rooms set aside for auditors at our central office, and they're filling them all the time and poking through the files, ask our management staff, making sure that we're renting to the right people and managing everything the way we should. So this program could get badly impacted when federal tax reform comes along. And I just want to ask you, Garrett, your staff and lobbying crew and everybody else from the assembly members and state officials, you know, please help us keep an eye on this ball, because it could get dinged very badly, and we want it to grow and expand, not shrink. So we'd appreciate being able to work with you on, you know, lobbying in Washington on that. Then the other key piece I just wanted to mention is that we are trying to restore part of the funding that was lost for affordable housing when redevelopment was taken away. And if I could wave a wand, trust me, in addition to making it rain and a lot, I would also bring back redevelopment. But I know that's a non-starter, at least for the time being, and probably for many years to come. But we do need to restore the funding that came through redevelopment, which was a mainstay of creating affordable housing statewide. And we would be able to do that if we're able to pass the Homes and Jobs Act, which was introduced by Senator DeSaulnier and is now under consideration in the state legislature. It's SB 391, and we greatly appreciate all of your support with regards to that. It does impose a fee through recordation on commercial land transactions. I see commercial brokers in the back are probably cringing as I say this, but it's only a little fee. It's just a little, it's a couple $100 on your building, and it doesn't impact single-family home sales at all. So we think it's just a minor price to pay in order to be able to help creating buildings like this one, and in fact get phase 2 underway here. It would help us do that. We want to do that, right? So help us on SB 391, please. And in the meantime, as you know, we're going to be studying up and making sure that we're always doing everything possible for the city to continue to be proud of Archway, and we so appreciate everything you've done to help us reach this moment. So with that, we're going to open the doors to lunch. Please have a, sorry, get me off stage. I drifted from the script.
I'm going to call up the people for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Judy, Mary, Mayor Marsh, Alice Carr, the representatives from the various representative offices, Chris, Dwayne, and Matt. Come on up.